Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight it's a little bit too early to see the stars shining bright above, but we have one star with us, a star of this year's festival. Tim Allen, for 20 years now, this UK-born animator has been doing stop-motion animation, and today's film is I Love Dogs by Wes Anderson, on which he is working and about which he will tell us tonight.
It's a long time to be playing with toys, isn't it? Right, okay. We're going to do a very brief introduction to I Love Dogs. It's the second time that I worked with Wes Anderson, the first time being Fantastic Mr. Fox. So I had a bit of an advantage compared to some of the animators because I already knew how the style of the way you animate for Wes worked. Okay. I'm going to talk through one of the key sequences that I did. I didn't do the famous sushi sequence. I didn't do the long sushi shots where they're cutting all the sushi up, where you just see the hands. But I did everything else in that sequence where the chef is packing the sushi, picking up the poison wasabi, which was made out of Play-Doh, if you're interested. Children's Play-Doh, let me find it. There we go. This is children's Play-Doh. It went dry very, very quickly, so every time Wes told me to do it again, we had to start with completely fresh Play-Doh. I've just remembered now, this rubber glove you can see was made out of a genuine latex rubber glove. And you can see it was cut to fit the hand and was completely... The other side of the hand is completely falling apart, but you can't see that. So, anyone that's been to my website will have seen this shot. We did a load of behind-the-scenes time-lapses towards the end of the film, and this, I was lucky enough to do a time-lapse for this particular shot, but it gives you a very good idea of how the animation process works. So, what you're looking at here, let's loop it, this camera here in front of the puppet, that's the ones that's taking all the individual photographs, or we call them frames, for the actual movie itself. So every time I move the puppet, it's this camera here that takes a photograph. And if we zoom out very, very wide, here you can see the whole studio. And my computer's just off to the side here. So every time I go and take a frame, I'm literally walking all the way over here and pushing the button on the computer for that camera to take a photo, and that's why, of course, you don't see me doing it. It gives you a bit of an idea how much, classic animation question, how do you know how much to move the puppet? And the answer to that is how long is a piece of string, or how big is a fish? It all depends on the type of movement we're trying to create. For the chef to put the sushi from holding it in front of him to the side, I'm moving the puppets about 12 times, something like that. And every time I'm having to get out of the way, walk off to the side to the computer, come back and move him again. Okay, I'm going to move on to show you more about how the actual shot is planned step by step. And we have we begin the process with what's called an animatic. And an animatic is like a storyboard where every shot is drawn, and that's then filmed and edited so that we can see the animatic as a film to see how long each shot needs to be. If you look up to the top right here, you can see this number going up. That's the frame count. And I believe we were 24 frames a second, so that's 24 photographs or pictures for every second of finished video. Wes is very, very specific. So if he wants, here's the bit where the chef puts the sushi down. If he wants the sushi to be put to the screen left on frame 32, I need to make sure that I've got the puppet in position on frame 32. Okay, so that will form my original conversation about what's planned in the shot, how long everything should be, and I do a rehearsal going. So this is not finished animation, but it is my first practice to see how this works visually, and is the puppet able to do what we saw there. Okay, let me see, did I get it on frame 32? No. We extended the beginning. That's right. He wanted the chef to be in a position ready to pick up the sushi and then do it. So he added something at the start. I think that's what happened. Okay, this is the kind of back and forth conversation with how we plan a shot. And it's very much what Wes wants and me trying to give Wes what he wants. First of all, in Wes World, it's not a computer game. Wes World is everything in Wes's head. Everything is obviously symmetrical. So you start off with that being the default. And the chopping board here, it seemed obvious that we would put the chopping board symmetrically, which meant the handle for the chopping board would be behind the sushi. If I pick the sushi up, there's the handle. But when the sushi's down, Wes didn't like that because it looks like the sushi's got little wings. So he asked if we could move the chopping board, or the handle. I had a problem with the puppet that the thumb had a digit missing. You couldn't bend this bit of the thumb here. So it made the thumb technically a lot shorter and very difficult to reach the sushi. So I did a bit of a cheat and I hid the thumbs behind the hands. And Wes's first comment was, "I can't see the thumbs." So what happens then is that after I finish this, I then send it's normally 3, the magic number is 3 different hand positions to see which hand position Wes likes, and I've then got to exactly match the position that he approves. We found it was 3 because if you send him 2 positions, he says, something that's kind of not that, but something in the middle. So if you send him 3, you'll get a more specific answer. And this caused a problem. The size of the box dictated the size of the paper bag. And as you see, the paper bag almost covers the chef. So Wes wanted a much smaller bag, and that then the box, the bag, all had to be suddenly made, but smaller, at very late notice. And the position at the end with the head being turned, which is very Wes Anderson. The puppets are either looking straight ahead or they're looking directly to the side. There's no in between. He decided it would be better if the head doesn't turn, but only the eyes turn. Don't ask me why. But that's basically the general conversation for most shots. It's all about detail, positions, and timing, and trying to give Wes exactly what he wants. Okay, so effectively that gives me a whole list of instructions of things that he does want and a few things he doesn't want, and I take that list for this final version. Here's my approved hand position. You can see the thumbs this time. As you can see, we've moved the handle to be to the side here, because don't forget he was going to pull the chopping board to that side, which is very unusual because it's not symmetrical, but it worked with the action we had planned. We have a much smaller bag and a smaller box, and very, very lastly, he's looking with just his eyes and not turning his head. But if you look very carefully, this eye is looking a bit down and this eye is looking a bit up. And again, Wes didn't notice that. Last minute, he decided the chopping board would go down straight towards him, which was a problem because he's standing a couple of millimetres from the table. And I only noticed this when I first saw it on the big screen in the cinema. The sushi isn't quite horizontal, which is very, very bad in Wes Anderson, in Wes World. But Wes didn't notice, so don't tell him. All these details are important because it's an extra half a second of animation, which is a good couple of hours' work. Okay, we're going to leave you to enjoy the movie. Thank you very much.
I tak, bardzo Państwu dziękuję i mam nadzieję, że spodobał Wam się film.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a short surprise, special appearance of real-life characters from the film. So please welcome Chief and Oracle.
W ramach niespodzianki dla Tima mamy tutaj 2 gwiazdy filmowe, Chief i Oracle.
Chief, he bites.
He bites. And Oracle. Great. Hey, Oracle, you've been watching too much TV. So sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely wild. Oh wow.
That was a surprise for me. For you. Oh.
When Isle of Dogs came out, I saw lots of people were doing watch with your dog screenings, which have been surprisingly successful.
Kiedy wyszła Wyspa Psów, to wiele kin organizowało pokazy, na które można było przyjść z pieskami. Były zaskakująco popularne.
Oracle's as well behaved and static as in the film.
Oracle bardzo dobrze się zachowuje, jest bardzo statycznym pieskiem.
In fact, I did see Oracle blink though, so it can't be the real one, because Wes Anderson doesn't let characters blink.
Ale to nie może być pies z filmu, bo Wes Anderson nie pozwala swoim postaciom mrugać, a Oracle właśnie mrugnął.
There's about one shot where a character blinks 6 times, so keep an eye out for it, because this film is having a staring contest at you. To begin with, we started animating blinks, and Wes would edit the frames out, so we were then told, no, don't blink.
W całym filmie jest tylko jedno ujęcie, gdzie jedna postać mruga 6 razy i tak naprawdę przez większość filmu te postacie się po prostu na widza gapią. Na początku rysowaliśmy te mrugania, ale Wes Anderson nie życzył sobie mieć ujęć z mrugnięciami, więc po prostu zaprzestaliśmy.
And they smell cleaner than the ones in the film as well.
Zapach też mają pieski lepsze niż te do filmu, używane w filmie.
Okay, that doesn't look comfortable, so I'm gonna let us go.
Yeah, you're going.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.